Hi everyone, I'm Rajkamal and welcome back to the brand new series of AI product engineering and in continuation to the Python playlist, which is essential Python for AI product development. I am going to record the very first video which is based on the module 1 introduction and setup, and the topic is what is Python and why to learn it. So guys, if I talk about the motivation behind learning Python, so I believe there are so many examples around us because we are living into the AI era. Every other application is agentic based or the RAG based or the combination of both. So this makes pretty much important for us as aspiring applied AI engineer, or if you are working professional and we are already building AI system. So this is the high time that we just brush up all the essential Python skills so that we can build end-to-end production grade AI system. Okay, so without further delay, let's get started. So guys, in terms of today's agenda, so we are going to learn about what Python actually is in the plain English, right? Then quickly I will walk you through in just 30 seconds about the history of Python, and then where the Python is used in terms of the day-to-day applications, the applications, and many more things, I would say. And then we will be also going to write our first line of code as a part of uh, first video lecture. Okay, so guys, we'll talk about what exactly is Python. So Python is basically a high level language that reads like English. Okay, so quickly just refer my pen tab and let me explain you quickly. So this is a high level language, guys. So it looks like a plain English only. You just consider you're just communicating with your very good friend in plain English. This is how easy Python language is. Okay, this is interpreted, no compile stuff. So if you are if you are coming from the background where you started your journey with learning C, C++, Java, right, then you might able to relate it. While running those codes, I mean C code or Java code, you would require to compile it first in order to run it, right? But in case of Python, this is not required. You just write your Python code and simply you can run inside your local machine. Okay, simply writing Python, then the your Python program name.py, and it will simply run it. So that's why it is called it interpreted, not compiled step. So this is also very fast. Okay, talking about how it created. So its creator name is Guido van Rossum. So he designed this Python programming language, or created this language in back 1991 with one goal: code should be easy to read and write, right? So whole idea or whole purpose of inventing this new language, where already there are many language by that time like C++ or Java in the world. If someone again, I mean some scientist is again developing something, so they were very clear in their mind that this programming language should be very user friendly, easy to learn and write the code, right? That is the whole idea. That's why I would prefer to start your journey with Python in this AI era, and named after the Monty Python. So this is a very funny incident. I would say, I mean, the perception, the people have the opinion that this Python name programming language is named after a snake, a reptile one, a animal one, but that is not the case. They named after the Monty Python. This is a very famous circus name. Okay, and he was very fond of this circus, and so that's why he just named after this Monty Python well-known circus back in that time. Okay, so that is the whole philosophy of starting this Python as a project. Let's jump to the next slide. Okay, so here let me quickly refer my pen tab. So it started in 1991 that we talk about, right? And the initial version was 0.9 as a, and he started, I mean, Guido started this project as a hobby project during the Christmas break, basically. I mean, that's how in general the big project has evolved, right? So in 2000, the Python 2 era introduced. There, it also introduced the libraries which can enable you as a developer to develop the web applications, end-to-end web applications as well, right? And do the scientific computation. Then there was the era in 2008 where the Python 3 arrives. Okay, where the Python where the Python 3 arrives, a very cleaner, modern, redesigned libraries, which eventually, I mean, when I started learning Python, this is a time where I got introduced to the Python, and I started using Python. And by that time, I was the data engineer, and I was using its functional library support to create those map filter or anonymous function. Okay, by that time. And today's we'll talk about this is the AI era. Every other application talk about those. Production grade AI systems that are backed using this programming language only. Okay, so they are, using Python 1 3 plus. So these are the version basically it's talking about, because now even the latest version is 3.14, I believe, that is going on. So yeah, most of the Python libraries, I would say the latest one, they're providing support with 3.13 uh, version going forward, right? And this is the number one language on the GitHub and powered by the AI boom as well, right? Going to the next slide. So here I'll talk about talk about its application. So in the web development, okay. So like if you want to, because in the announcement video as well, I was talking about this whole Python is very vast, and it is and this is being supported by many different categories of the developers, like there are the web developer, full stack developers, the data engineers, the AIML engineers, and the GenAI engineers as well. So when we're talking about the web developers or full stack developers, they are basically using those set of Python libraries which can using that the system like Instagram, YouTube, or Reddit can build, right? Because they are using basically this Django framework. This enables you to do the web development. Then using the Flask and the fast APIs, basically you can go and create the APIs. That is pretty much important to make the communication happen between the backend services in the very giant system. Talking about the data science and the AI in that field or in that segment, the people generally data scientists, what they do the EDA, then they do the model training, testing, everything, right? So there they would require the PyTorch, because these are the deep learning libraries, PyTorch, TensorFlow, and then the Pandas and the NumPy and the Matplotlib. Those are the very frequently used libraries which AI ML engineers mostly use. Then Python is very popular for automating the task, for the automation and for the scripting, like renaming 1000 file or scraping the website data. Are and I think beautiful soap and that kind of libraries are readily available, so that you just go and use those library in order to automate and do your task. And it is not required to go and write that kind of custom libraries from very scratch, right? That is again a very pain, uh, which eventually we need to do at the time of the Java and C languages, right? But here there is a lot of huge, I would say the developers community support in order to for the tons of the libraries, so that uh, easily you can do and develop any of the application in no time. Then there are real projects like the Netflix recommendation, Spotify analytics, and the NASA mission tools, and the agentic systems. Potentially, after completing this playlist, we will be creating those applications. So there you will see the real-time application of Python as well, right? And then after that, I would say going to the next slide. So yeah, in terms of the first line of the code, yeah, before that there is a one thing as well that I would like to talk about. So in terms of the Python, there is a one more important thing that I would like to cover. So Python is also known as the dynamically dynamically typed language. So what does it mean? So when I'm saying dynamically typed language, means if you're defining any variable like name, right? Name as Rajkamal. So you no need to define explicitly the data type of that variable. Python itself and runtime will identify its data type, like it's a string type, and accordingly it will do the operation required as a part of your code snippet. However, that kind of flexibility was not available, is not available in C or Java. They are explicitly you need to define the data type at the time of variable declaration, that name is of string type, and then the assignment happens, right? And then the compiler understand, okay, you have defined this name as a string type, and initialized with the rajkamalai as well. Now things looks pretty much well. But if you are not defining its data type, then at the compile time those Java codes gets fail. So that kind of overhead is not present inside the Python language. That is also the best part, that whether, I mean, this is optional. I mean, the defining the data type of any variable is optional. If you're defining, then it is well and good, right? Python will not mind it, and accordingly it will do the typecasting. But if you're not defining, it will as I mean it will just analyze the data, and accordingly it will assign the data type of that variable. That's how things works, right? I believe that is pretty much important, so thought to cover as a part of first lecture one today. And as a part of first line of code, let me quickly take you to the VS code. Okay, so where is my VS code? This is the VS code. If you go there, so there, if you look at this is the IPython notebook, just I mean, just like a Jupyter notebook. Okay, where you can go and develop the code line by line and execute it, and you just see the output at the cell level. Okay. However, in the this if you're writing any code as a part of your scripting, that that will run in one go, and then after running each line of code, it will provide you the output. However, it is different. This IPython notebook is different. Here the output you will see line by line. Okay. And for the most of the development, generally we start with the IPython notebook as well. When we the prototyping, all those things are done, then we'll just translate those codes after doing some modification, logging, exception handling, each and everything, and translate it into the Python script. I mean, that's how the development work in the real world. But yeah, to give you the glimpse about how easy it is to write your first hello world program in the Python, you just need to write a print hello world, right? This is as easy uh, writing the English statement, right? If you're writing a sentence in a plain English, so that's how I believe you will be writing print hello world, right? So that's why I'm saying it is pretty much easy to interpret, and it is equivalent to learning English language. However, in order to run it as a part of Python script, right, uh, you can write this code after saving it. In order to run it, you just run this command python followed by the Python script name .py, and here is the output. Okay, so that much easy is writing the code in Python. Going to the next slide. Okay, why Python for the AI product development? So see, I will talk about the Python. Python is the number one programming language. In the GitHub, you'll go. Most of the AI development is happening using the Python as programming language only, right? So huge support for the libraries like the PyTorch, TensorFlow, LangChain, LangGraph, OpenAI SDKs, and the fast path for from ideation to prototype. Because the reason of this, I mean, I mean, the reason for fast tracking your prototyping is that because there is a support for tons of libraries, ready-made libraries in Python available, so that you need not to do and go and develop the things from very scratch. For small things, you can go directly and reuse those libraries in order to create any prototype MVPs, right? That's why this is faster. This provides the faster path from ideation to the prototyping. Okay, that is the whole idea. Then talking about 5 lakhs plus ready-made packages, so that's where I'm talking about the support, huge support for the Python libraries. So the Python developers communities, I mean, they are very good in order to provide you support for these libraries. So there are so many libraries, ready-made libraries are available that you can go and use it directly in order to create some prototypes or MVPs, right? So simply you can go and using the pip install command, you can go and install the things, right? Without any bottleneck. Then one skill, many careers. Like using the Python, you can go and start your career as a web developer, even as a data engineer, automation engineer, then ML engineer, right? Python opens every door. That is the beauty of Python. Okay. Then talk about the quick recap. So as a part of this quick recap, so guys, we learned about the Python is a high level language, interpreted language. Even we have also learned about it is the dynamically typed language. Then we just talked about the its history, like created in 1991. Today it's a number one language of the AI era. And then it powers the top notch, I would say, the production grade system application nowadays, like be it Instagram, Netflix, and NASA. They are using Python programming language underneath. Then talking about this print hello world, the how easy writing this code in Python, that I have made you understand using IPython Jupyter notebook, and even using the plain Python script, right? I ran it successfully and I shown you the how the output looks like. Okay, so that's it pretty much, guys. I hope you have learned something today. With that, I'm signing off. But remember, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building together. Thank you.